Good evening everybody, F4H Rosso here with GT Sport once again. Tonight it's 4 races for the price of 1. We're going to be driving the Mazda Atenza sedan around the Lake Maggiore Central Circuit. A bit different from what we usually do this. Usually we are in a Group 3, Group 4 car, hammering round tracks at about 130, 150 mile an hour. No danger of that in this car. I don't think it's ever done 50 mile an hour. Very weird car to drive this. I don't know if anyone tried it out yesterday, but very, very, very odd characteristics. A very heavy car, but also you have to really rev it extremely low in the power band for it to actually go anywhere. So you'll see me shifting extremely early. But yeah, 4 races tonight. We'll start off with the first one. And what makes these races really cool, I think, is that there were so many races yesterday that I did where we were against other people in the top 10 stars. So ourselves, we managed to qualify 4th at the time of the videos. I think we got knocked down to 5th by the end. But yeah, we were in 4th at the time of this video. Jen, who's behind us, was in 5th, and Bezzy, who's in 3rd, was in 10th. So we had 3 people in the top 10 stars in this one race, and these races were incredibly close, like crazily close. Obviously the track is short, the cars are, slow, so that in itself lends itself to some really close racing. But what you'll see over the course of the 4 races is some really, really, really close, sometimes fair, sometimes not particularly fair racing. But I had some great races with quite a few people in the top 10 stars, so 2 in this race, and we've got more coming up as well. So we had to fight extremely hard for every result. But this one's gone alright so far. We are in the lead, just controlling the pace from the front. Really struggled in this car and this track combination, because no matter how fast you are, you lose time to the car behind because the slipstream is so powerful. So you'll see we're putting in some pretty solid laps. Our lap times, are just outside what would be top 10 stars pace. For the majority of the video, we're hitting that kind of pace, but you just cannot shake the car behind. What's also difficult is if you're the following car, it's really difficult to overtake because the car's so sluggish, you don't get a crazy amount of overspeed. You get maybe 1 or 2 mile an hour to work with. So you'll see that while Jen is really close behind me, as long as I'm clever about where I position my car and things like that, it's very difficult for him to pass. So you see he's got like half an opportunity there up the inside, but he has to be extremely forceful if he wants to attempt to make that move. And for the most part, Jen was extremely respectful with his racing and his strategy. So we've hung on for the first 2 laps. We're going to skip at the end of this to lap 5, or the start of the final lap, because basically it was status quo. You can see he's still within 2/10 of me, so we've been battling hammer and tongs, putting in pretty much top 10 laps. You can see in the lap times a 59.0, a 59.2, a 59.0, a 59.0. Bear in mind that we've qualified with a 58.7, so extremely close to what we've run in qualifying, just really pushing one another so hard. So we're going to have to go defensive up to this final corner. Jen is on the prowl, he's as close as he's ever been, and he's got a good run, so we're going to sweep over to the right hand side, make sure we defend well. Jen's committed to that outside. We're going to brake, make sure that we sit on this apex so he can't get the cut back on us. And that's race 1 complete. Jen's got a good exit, but we're going to hold him to the line and secure that first win. But extremely well fought. You've got 3 guys from the top 10 in there, been extremely respectful, no bumping or anything like that. And it was so good that we decided that we'd race Jen again in race 2. So here we are again on lap 1. The same kind of format basically. We've got us obviously in pole position. This was basically the race after, so we both jumped straight back in. Extremely respectful battle in between both of us. And as I said, Jen was extremely fair, extremely quick. Just a shame, as I say, that unfortunately you can't really, without being extremely forceful, as you'll see in race 3 and 4 even, you can't really be too, well, you have to be forceful with a move. You have to, dive in with a block pass or something like that, because you just don't get, even if you're, as I say, he's 3/10 behind me here, but under braking, you just can't make that distance up. He closes up, and then I get on the power earlier and just kind of snail away a little bit. But it makes for some extremely close racing. You can see he's not leaving us alone, Jen. He's right behind us. You've got Schumi in third. If anyone can tell me what that flag is, because I have no idea. Is it Latvia, maybe? I'm not sure. But he was always extremely close to us as well. Made a little bit of a mistake there, just jinxed him. But it was all about just really being as consistent as possible. You can see I'm just hitting every apex, just maintaining as much momentum as possible, trying to get the best run, make sure I don't compromise myself down these straights, and shifting, as I said earlier, extremely early. It was really weird trying to get used to this car. I came on to do qualifying, and the first lap I put in, I was like, how the hell has somebody got a 58 in this car? But you find as you drive it, you pick up these little weird things where you can see I'm barely into the rev range and changing up to fourth, because otherwise you just lost so much speed in this Atenzion. It was a really, really odd car to drive, really odd. But again, we're going to skip forward to the final lap. Very similar race, this one, to race 2, but extremely similar again. I mean, look, we're running, those similar times, a little bit slower this race by, maybe a couple of tenths. We're still hammering along between us. It's been a little bit more of a fight this time, as you can see. Lap 4, we lost about 6 tenths between us because there was a little bit of a scrap between us. But again, exactly the same. Lap 6, there's still 4 tenths between us. That's a blink, basically. It's just a blink of the eyes, and he's right. He's been right with us all this time, but at the same time, not done anything silly. He's maintained his cool, not dove in or anything like that, which I've had a huge amount of respect for him for, and looking forward to racing Jen again in the future. But we've wrapped up race 2. Another good result for us against extremely stiff competition, as part of, as I say, those top 10 stars. Extremely quick and consistent, Jen. So well played. We're not going to race him anymore. Some new challenges on the horizon, and race 3 gets a bit tasty, shall we say. So we're going to join it on lap 2. We've got Law the King chasing us, another Italian. Very different philosophy between the two Italians. You'll see he's roughly the same kind of distance behind me as Jen was in the last race. Not really overtaking position, but he's just going to sink one down the inside, force me wide. So we're going to try and defend. We've got a better run out of the last corner, so we're going to defend over this left hand side, kind of drift to the right a little bit. My thinking at this point was that yes, he might have the inside line, but we're going to have the inside for turn 3, which is the way it would have worked out if Schumi, the Latvian, potential Latvian, hadn't absolutely fired Law down the inside of me. It's a good job I saw that one coming. Massive smash from behind, assisted overtake. But we've got a bit of work to do this time, and you'll see how difficult, as I said, it was before to make that overtaking move from behind. You'll see we're extremely close. I mean, we're closer than Law was to us last time. He's going to go defensive, so we've got to go for this outside line, and we're going to try a cut back, see if we can make it work. But he's positioned his car really well, to be fair, so we get the cut back on him. But there's really nowhere for us to go. We've just touched him a little bit, which has kind of ruined our momentum. But we've got the toe, so we're going to go up the inside. But unfortunately, Law is going to turn into Michael Schumacher V2.0, and we are Rubens Barrichello, basically trying to force me into that wall. Doesn't work. We commit. We're up the inside. We've done extremely well. And then he's not satisfied with that, so he's just going to literally spear us out the way. Didn't fancy losing, clearly. So we've gone from 100% respectful racing, and we're getting shoveled around all over the show now. It's devolved into a free-for-all, an absolute skirmish. We're fighting for our lives all of a sudden. So you just see, I mean, we're in the same car, same track, same nationality, but one person can race fairly and one person can't. But we're going to do what we can to get back up to where we need to be. We've got the Spaniard on our inside, so we've just given him plenty of room on the inside and basically focused on getting a good run, a little tap down the straight. We're just trying to hog as much draft as we can from the cars in front. we can still catch them. It's going to be hard work because basically the pace differential isn't huge. We lost a lot of time on that last lap, maybe 2 or 3 seconds. So bit of work to do, but they're fighting tooth and nail between one another. So we can still get a good result out of this. There's a potential win still on the cards. So just trying to tuck in behind these two, get that draft that we need. It does work extremely well in these cars, especially when you're in like a double draft like this. So Schumi will be in a draft behind Law, but I'll be in like a double draft where they're punching like a double hole through the air for me. With these two fighting, I've just hit Schumi. Bit of a bump, so assisted overtakes all over the show. We've slotted in on the inside. Law forced Schumi out on the outside there into the grass, which kind of compromised his run down the straight, which isn't ideal. So as I say, Law's been a bit naughty this race, I would say. So he's hit me. He's forced Schumi off the track altogether. So there is a potential that he's going to have a penalty at the end of this. I'll be very surprised if he hasn't. It's been a bit rough in this one, shall we say? But we've got a good run. We are extremely close on this last lap. Definitely within move range. Less than 2/10 now. He's going to go extremely defensive. You'll see as soon as we come around this sweeper, he is basically hugging that inside wall. So there's nowhere for us on the inside. So we're going to have to try the cutback again. And it worked for us on the lap before, but he's just going to sideswipe us out wide again, doing what's necessary to take the win. Very Schumacher-esque, but he's come away with a win on that one. But we'll see if he gets a penalty. No. So second position in that one. I'll say very surprised to see Law not get a penalty for his racecraft in that one. It's where the penalty system I think needs a bit of refinement. So on to race 4, and again this one's going to be a very interesting one. So again, Mel absolutely diving down the inside, just shoveling me out of the way. Doesn't really care much for me and my race. He's just pushing me out wide, trying to get a good run onto the straight, just smashing me out of the way on the inside. So we're going to go defensive. Going to go a bit more defensive than we did in the last race, but again he's just giving me a bit of a nudge, another nudge, just to make sure, another nudge, further nudge, just letting me know he's there. He's extremely close again, another nudge, and unfortunately, really unfortunately placed cone on the outside is going to absolutely ruin our run. And again, Mel doesn't really care much for other drivers on the track by the looks of things. He's given me absolutely no room there. The Nürburgring behind us, extremely close. We're just going to move over, and we're going to give Mel a bit of a taste of his own medicine here. I was getting a bit fed up with the way people were driving, so I've just launched one up his inside, the same as he did to me first lap, and a bit of karma. Nürburgring's got into his inside. What this video doesn't show, I actually skipped it, is TRZ Senna, again another top 10 star, was lining up alongside me on the grid in this race, and on the first lap that Mel guy basically just speared him into turn 1. So I think he got exactly what he deserved in this race, to be fair. I wouldn't hesitate to pull the same move on him again, because I will do whatever it takes to be clean in a race, as long as the people that are racing me will give me the same amount of respect. But that guy and Law in the race before didn't show me that level of respect. I mean, one of them just tried blatantly to put me into a wall, and that Mel guy has basically speared off Senna and basically launched his car up the inside of mine, so I can't make a turn to try and pass me. So yeah, just kind of dickish moves where I'm not gonna just continue to race clean at that point. I mean, you're just doing yourself a disservice. As long as you stay out of penalties and things like that, you can put kind of touring car moves on people, block passes and stuff like that. So Senna extremely close going into the final lap. This is going to be a very tough fight. Senna extremely quick. Seen him on the leaderboards a lot, and again in the top 10 stars for this race. So we're going to be extremely defensive, just nice and slow on the apex there, just force Senna to take a suboptimal line and accelerate a bit later than he wants to, which has given us a nice little breathing space, but he's really, really, really close, you can see. Just within 3/10, and that gap's coming down at all times. So we are on our fastest lap so far, but he's got the toe. So we're going to show him the outside. He really wants to go inside, but we're not going to give him that room. Nice and late on the brakes, and we're just going to sit on this apex, so he can't accelerate where he wants to. We've got a good run, and I think we're just about going to secure win number 3. Again, a flash of the lights there from Senna. I think that means good race. I hope it means good race. It was a good race between us. It was a good race between, you know, us and Senna, us and Jen. It's just a shame that some other people wanted to throw in some wild moves, but it made the races interesting. It spiced them up a bit, and they were extremely good. It was nice to do something a bit different. One thing that made me laugh is Nürburgring, who finished 4th, got a 27-second penalty. I have no idea what for, but absolutely insane amount of penalty. And that must have been more, so he must have had like a 35-second penalty or something like that, because that's come down a bit. But yeah, an extremely cool 4 races. Nice to do something different, although I don't think I'm in a hurry to drive anything that slow again for a while. I think we'll go back to Group 4 or Group 3 for future videos. But yeah, if you enjoyed that, guys, feel free to whack a click on that blue thumbs up for me. And if you want to see a bit more, hit that red button to subscribe. It'd be great to have you here on board. Stream tomorrow. Yep, stream tomorrow. We will do some sport mode tomorrow, and then open lobbies probably on Monday. So thanks very much for watching, guys. As always, have a fantastic evening, and I will see you all soon.